You're in the home stretch of the off season. College football is almost back. Football is almost back. Good thing we have the Olympics, but I wanted to make a video and give my three people or three position groups maybe are going to be very important for Texas's success this season. Also, I just want to say Hookem. And also, I learned from another video that me having my hair touch the microphone is not a good look. So if I am going to try to keep my hair all on one side so that it doesn't get in the way as I'm recording this. But anyways, let's get into talking Texas football. The ways that I assess football teams, and I think I do this pretty consistently throughout the college game and the NFL game. And I kind of do this also when I'm thinking about like volleyball and stuff like that, is I focus on the depth of teams, mainly because of this. I think your first team are your starters. They're supposed to do what they're supposed to do. That is what makes them who they are. They're supposed to be amazing, right? I think if they play to their potential, then your team is fine. I think what takes teams over the edge is two things. First, the star player usually plays out of his mind and does something exceptionally well, or the backup steps in and does something exceptionally well. And so for me, when I'm looking at Texas, I always think this. First team, we look good. I think we look good. I think we have what we need. I think this year, especially heading into a new conference, the most important parts of us is going to be what kind of production we can get from a couple of groups. Just want to state the obvious because I have been stating this from jump. Our secondary has to be better than it was last year. If our secondary is not better than it was last year, nothing else really matters, and we can just pack it up and we can just have a fun season, have fun, win as many games as you want, keep it moving when the season's over. However, for Texas to do well this year, Texas has to have a better secondary than they had last year. Texas secondary got torched last year. We all know it. We all saw it. It just kind of is what it is. And so this year, it has to be better. We don't have a choice but for it to be better. The good news is we did some cool things in the transfer portal, which is fine. But I am really focused on the people that we have returning that should lead that group to be good this year. The one thing I like about Texas is Texas didn't have any major changes in coaching this year. And so when you are able to keep your same offensive coordinator, your same defensive coordinator, and keep kind of the same consistency around people, really think that that helps players. And so I'm really hoping that it helps our secondary. The second thing I have on my list, and I'm super excited to talk about this because as a Steelers fan, I am a sucker for a good linebacker group. I'm a sucker for good linebackers. I think our linebacker group is going to be fine. I think we're going to actually go as our linebackers go. The person that I am going to be looking out for this year is Anthony Hill Jr. He is entering his sophomore season. He is our guy. He should have a great season. I think if he has a great season, the showing up and making the big plays in timely manners, the being consistent, communicating, all of those things. I think this year we're gearing up for Anthony Hill Jr. to have a great year. And like I said before, I love it when linebacker good, when the whole linebacker core looks good. But I think that you ask that's a Texas fan will probably rally around Anthony Hill Jr. Linebacker room is going to go as Anthony Hill Jr. goes. And again, as I said at the beginning of this video, if somebody in that group steps up and is better than what we expect Anthony Hill Jr. to be, that is only going to make the team better, which is fantastic and an advantage. The third person, and it's kind of funny here that I'm going all defense, but our defense is my biggest concern. The third person that I think will make a big impact for Texas this year is Trey Moore. I think that Trey Moore coming over from UTSA, I think he's a great fit at Texas. I think people love what he brings to the table. I know for a fact Sark has called him out on a couple of occasions on the spring game. I went to go see him, as you remember in my Texas spring game video, which I'll try to put here if I remember. I went to go specifically see what he looked like. I wanted to see how he fit in. I wanted to see how he looked. He didn't disappoint. And so I'm excited to see Trey Moore this year. I'm excited to see him as part of the defense. And I'm super excited just to see how everything comes together on the defensive side of the ball. Because I personally, and I could be wrong about this, I think Texas is going to go as far as their defense goes. And that's just how I feel. I think that the offense, you already know what you're kind of getting. Good offensive line, So people would say great offensive line, great running backs, Quinn Ewers, like it's consistent. We have like we have some things on offense that it's just like, oh yeah, it's going to work. And then you have Coach Sark calling plays. So it's like our offense is our offense. Most people would say it might be top 5, top 10 in the country. So I don't really worry about our offense per se. However, I'm really focused on our defense because I think that our defense needed a little bit of facelift. So I hope we're able to perform to that standard. The other big impact player, I had to add this as my honorable mention because as I said at the beginning of this video, if something happens and your backups come in, you still need them to maintain the same level that you were playing or a higher level of what you were playing. And because of that, my honorable mention here is going to be Ryan Wingo. He's a freshman. He's a true freshman. And if Ryan Wingo comes in and makes a difference and is an impact player for the Texas Longhorns this year, I think the Longhorns are going to be better than we think they're going to be. He is my sleeper. He's going to be my honorable mention for now. I think he is primed to really step up in that position and do well. I think he's working hard. I think he will earn it. And like I said before, if I am looking for somebody to be an honorable mention on this team that I think will take us over the edge, I would definitely have to say Ryan Wingo. I also want to say this. We all know that I have a special place in my heart for a lot of the freshmen that we have on the team this year, and I will leave them where they're at. And some of them might do what I think they're going to do, but I didn't want to mention them because they are on the defense side of the ball. Just wanted to kind of leave them where they're at. And something about Ryan Wingo to me, seeing him at the spring game and just watching him about him felt special. And so I'm just kind of curious to see what happens with him this year. And so overall, I think these are the three different things plus honorable mention that could help the Texas Longhorns be successful this year. I think that each of them for their different reasons has a great opportunity to really step in, put in the work, and to take us over the edge next year. One thing that I really love about this Texas team moving into the SEC and moving into a division where, as I've mentioned before, only our coach has experience in the SEC. Yes, we have some players that have experience coming from the SEC, but as a whole, just like a consistent season, day in and day out, our coach has experience. And so his experience is really, really going to be key to making sure our athletes are ready, making sure our athletes are poised, making sure they're focused. But at the end of the day, if that secondary does not step up, if those leaders do not step up, we might be in trouble. But I am looking forward to watching the linebackers. I am looking forward to seeing who does step up. And quite frankly, I'm just looking forward to the season to start because at this point, I'm tired of talking about the season. Let's just get the season started and let's see what's going to happen. So, as I mentioned before at the top of this, these are my 3 groups and 3 things that I feel like has to go well, has to play well this year in order for the Texas Longhorns to be successful. And in order for Texas to be at the top of the SEC, which is actually crazy that I'm saying that out loud because under zero circumstances did I think this time last year that people would be predicting Texas to finish first, second, or even third in the SEC. But that just shows you how well we've improved. That shows you our player development. And that really shows that we are poised to have a great season. Now it's up to the team to figure it out. And you all know, I always say, I trust nothing until I see it. And I will trust that they'll get the job done. But until they get the job done, I will not trust that they are going to get the job done. And that's just how I'm going to roll. But as always, Hookem, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're a Texas fan or if you like Texas football and you've just looked at Texas, what do you think about my thoughts here? What do you think about these 3 things that I mentioned? What do you think about my honorable mention? And maybe even let me know if there's any freshmen that you are watching that you think might have a chance to make an impact this season.